This is Garum, and of course I am ignoring reality. Welcome to Game News Bites. Only good information, all duds removed. Xcom Novel Summation, Part 19. Alright guys, where did we leave it off last time? Well, Sam was negotiating a deal with a local hyena for a shipment of rare goods needed to service the derelict Avenger. Alright guys, here we go. Back at the ship, a little village was growing. Not huge. Its inhabitants were a pretty select bunch. Captain Loxonin was bringing scientists, machinists, engineers, and chemists from around the globe. A number of huts had been erected and powered with solar panels. The population was around 30 so far. Enough to make Amar feel edgy. The more people moving in and out of the area meant the higher chances someone was going to notice. Someone like the Advent, or possibly an informant to them. He spent a lot of his time trying to fortify the area. Well, the best he could, anyways. They had begun assembling larger guns, but what he really wanted was to improve their earlier detection systems. He'd set up watch posts, lookouts, and motion-activated cameras along every path large enough for a bicycle. The elder Dr. Shin set up an early morning briefing to let everyone know the progress that they were making. "We were wrong to assume the power was entirely out on the ship," Shin said. "There are certain key areas where there is still a small amount of energy manifesting itself. A kind of low-level maintenance. Or perhaps, better explained, a long-term healing process." "Are you saying the ship's alive?" Sam asked. "Not in a biological sense. Alien tech's very advanced. It has a very complex feedback loop. So, comparing it with a human body is like, think of when a cell becomes damaged. Either your body repairs it, or replaces it with a neighboring one. This happens without reference to the higher systems of your brain. It's automatic. But if you receive a larger gash, an intelligent being will apply first aid. The body will begin employing clotting factors in the blood. You disinfect the wound and so on. The ship is currently functioning, but only on a molecular level, completely detached from the higher functions, the brain of the ship. For the most part, this is probably a good thing. Like their transports and other equipment, there are likely safeguards against anyone other than the creators from taking control. All of that's shut down right now. We need to identify these systems and make sure they stay dysfunctional before we restore full power to the ship." The elder Shin tapped a display on his handheld tablet showing a holographic map of the ship, well, what they had mapped so far. "Parts of the ship remain inaccessible to us. We don't even have a guess what lay beyond these points or their intended purposes. Some access ways have been opened using an outside power source like our generators, but this larger section is a true enigma to us," he said, pointing to a large room at the nose of the ship. "We'll likely need the main computer online to get that entryway opened, but for that we need power, a lot of it. That's going to be the next step in this plan. Basically, we need Illyrium," Shin continued. Several days passed after that meeting, and now Amar found himself on board the Elpis again. He forgot how constraining it was after spending so much time outside. He had gone in to check on Nishimura, and she was doing exceptionally. He even had a chance to run some training with her. She's almost made a full recovery, he thought. The Elpis surfaced along the coast of Brittany. They had a new mission to attend to. Lily and Lena was on board for this one. Together they all moved into the contagion zone and did their best not to attract any unwanted attention. They moved along for several hours when the team sharpshooter stopped. "What is it?" Amar asked. She held her gun up for a long moment, then passed it to him and pointed into the distance. Peering through the scope, he could see 3 wild boars. They looked very unhealthy and thin. Most of their fur was gone and replaced by something that glinted in the sunlight, like glass or crystals. Nishimura dropped down low to the ground to get a closer look. He remembered how much he missed her skills as he watched her move silently through the tall grass. She stopped about 10 meters away from them and remarked across the radio at how dead their eyes looked, how disturbingly still they stood. Well, save for the swaying and occasional stamping of the hooves. She took a few more steps and the nearest one to her charged. Amar immediately noticed its odd run. It's like it was only using 3 of its legs. Nishimura fell back, and the team sharpshooter took that moment to take her shot. The boar exploded like a puffball mushroom. Instead of a cloud of spores, it was kind of like a rainbow fog. "It's okay, Chief," Nishimura yelled. "I only tripped." After all their trekking through the contagion zones, Amar had begun to seriously doubt there actually was a contagion. It seemed more likely that the Advent just wanted people to stay out of certain areas. But this was proof. Proof that something else was out there. "I want to get a sample," Lily said. "Not a good idea. I'm not going to let that happen," Amar responded. "This is something the invaders fear. It'd be stupid not to learn more about it," Lily said. "No. Let someone else come and study it. Someone else with the equipment to do so. We don't know how contagious that is or what it's going to do," Amar said back to her sternly. Lily sighed and shrugged. "Very well," she said, dropping the subject. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this one. If you want to jump to part 20, go ahead and click right there and I'll take you to it. Really hope you enjoyed this one, guys. And thanks for watching.